It's Garden County Radio live from Shoreline Leisure and Greystones. And the returning officer has just announced the election of the 5 candidates here and has now called them to the podium to address the crowd here at Shoreline Leisure at the Count Centre for Wicklow with East Carlow. Here's John Brady now from Sinn Fein.
First of all, I'd just like to thank the returning officer, Mary Delahanty, and all the staff here in the Count Centre for the excellent work that was carried out today, yesterday, and all the polling stations on Friday as well. I think Wicklow has booked the trends here. We've made declarations faster than any previous election in living memory, so that goes down to the expertise and the excellent management and all of the staff here. So again, thank you all very, very much. First of all, I'm absolutely delighted to be elected as a TD to represent the constituency of Wicklow, East Carlow. It's a great, great honour to have received such a big mandate from the people right across the entire constituency. And a lot of credit has to go to my family, Gael, and my 5 children for the support that they gave me, not just over the course of this campaign, but over the last 12 years. Without them, certainly I wouldn't be standing here today. I also want to thank all my excellent campaign team. Again, without them, I certainly would not be here. I think today I'm going to leave aside all politics, national politics. This is about County Wicklow and East Carlow. And as a TD representing this constituency, we have a huge, huge job of work. All 5 TDs must now work together, put aside our political differences, and I'm sure there will be many over the next 5 years, or however long this Dáil term will last. We now put on the Wicklow colours, and we must now work together to represent every single constituent in this huge constituency. A lot of people have a lot of issues right across the whole constituency. So I look forward to working with my fellow TDs here. And I'll finish just on a note to my unsuccessful candidates. I know I stood here 5 years ago and I missed out by 112 votes. So I know how difficult it is to miss out. So I take my hat off to every single candidate that put their names forward and stood before you, the electorate here in Wicklow. It's a huge, huge big honour, and it is bitterly disappointing to miss out. But I must commend each and every one of them. And finally, to thank everyone in Wicklow East Carlow for giving me your mandate to represent you. It's a truly, truly humbling experience and a very, very proud moment for me. So, Gurv Mila Mahalo.
Councillor John Brady. Now, Chuck to Doyle, John Brady.
Good evening, everybody. I too want to join with my fellow TDs for County Wicklow and for Wicklow and East Carlow in thanking the returning officer, thanking all of the staff here in Shoreline, and indeed all of the staff who worked at the various polling stations right throughout the length and breadth of Wicklow East Carlow. This is democracy in action, and they tried to introduce e-voting machines a number of years ago. It didn't work very well, and I think we'd really miss the both of the count. So thank you so much for the huge part you've played in making sure this election takes place in such an orderly fashion. And to be leaving a Wicklow Count Centre at tea time on Sunday, is certainly a new experience for many of us here. So congratulations and thank you to all of our staff here at the centre for all the work that you've undertaken over the last few days. Thank you very much. I want to congratulate my fellow TDs for this constituency, Stephen, Andrew, Pat, John. I want to particularly congratulate the 2 new TDs, Pat and John, who will be joining Stephen, Andrew and I in the Doyle. And I look forward to all 5 of us working together in the interests of the people of Wicklow East Carlow. But I particularly want to pay tribute this evening to Anne Ferris and Billy Timmins, who have both served this constituency with distinction, worked as hard as they possibly can for the people of this county, and it's been a great honour and pleasure to know them, to work with them, and to call them friends. And my thoughts are with them and their families and their supporters this evening as well. I want to acknowledge the wonderful role played by my party colleague Avril Cronin in West Wicklow in working with Andrew and myself to ensure that we as a party had the results that we had in Wicklow today. And I've no doubt Avril is going to be a rising star here in the Wicklow constituency. It's been a long number of days for everybody, so I just want to finally thank my family, my partner Kiva, all my friends, my staff, all of the constituency organisation, and most importantly, all of the people in Wicklow and East Carlow who have placed their trust and their faith in me. In an effort to return that, I will work as hard as I possibly can for you. We're going back to a Dáil, a very different Dáil, a fragmented Dáil, but there's a duty and onus on all of us in that Dáil now to act as grown-ups. The people of Ireland have made their decision. They've dealt us a cards, and we have to now play the hand of cards that they've dealt us. And I look forward to playing a constructive role in the coming weeks and trying to ensure that we can put a government in place, regardless of what that ends up looking like, to serve the people of Wicklow, East Carlow and all of this country. Garmina Magov.
Simon Harris, TD for the Wicklow East Carlow constituency, re-elected.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Could I just start by saying, democracy in action is brilliant, but it can leave you with no nails, no nerves, and some other parts not working well either. Could I first of all thank the returning officer, led by colleagues Mary Delahanty, and all the staff here who've conducted the count. And certainly the old saying about Wicklow would leave no last to no one has been proven not to be the case this time. But I think it is to their credit that they carried out a count without one recheck as efficiently as they did, and I'd like to wish them well. I'm sure they'll sleep well tonight. Secondly, I'd just like to thank my own family, my friends, my wonderful team of supporters and people who went out on the highways and byways in what was very bad weather at the beginning and turned out to be good at the end. But without you, I certainly wouldn't be here, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. We are now elected. We're not quite sure what shape the government will take, but I do know that this will be my third term in Dáil, that if the 5 elected TDs in Wicklow work together, regardless of the nature and hue of the government, we can actually achieve more for Wicklow working together than if we don't. And I think we have proven that in the past. And Wicklow and East Carlow, I should add very quickly. But that's the way I think we need to work, and I think we can. I'd finally like to pay tribute to a number of people. Avril for running with us and being so brave as to get out there in 3 weeks and run up and down West Wicklow and East Carlow. And Ferris, who was a very good and very cooperative colleague in Dáil, and I wish her well. And finally, Billy Timmins, who I worked with since 1997, and it was him or me at the end, and that's something that will be bittersweet for me, but I sincerely wish Billy the best in the future. Thank you.
Andrew Doyle, re-elected for Gael, and now Pat Casey, the newbie. Fianna Fáil must be delighted with this.
Good evening, everyone. Equally, I would like to take this opportunity to pay special thanks to the returning officer and to all the staff here for a very efficient count. And I was delighted to see during the week when she called in all the representatives to agree the spoiled votes before we got here. It did make the process a lot easier. Equally to all the people who partook in the tally, without which we wouldn't know where we stand for a lot longer, and a huge thanks to all of them. Having done it for 2 general elections, I know the effort that's required for it, so a huge thank you to everybody who partook in the tally. To each of the representatives who were brave enough to put their names forward for election, it is not indeed the easiest process. But as the other members have said, we must pay a special thanks to both Anne Ferris and Billy Timmins, who have served this county well over a number of years now. This is my first venture into national politics, and my success here today is down to a very committed team of supporters. So I must take time now to pay a huge thanks to each and every one of you for the effort and commitment that you have given to me over the last number of weeks and indeed months. Without that, I wouldn't be standing before you. So thank you very much. You know, during every count there's always a moment where you get worried, and I was expecting the moment when Avril was eliminated and the votes were going to go against me. But equally then I had a very strong running mate, so I want to pay thanks to my running mate, Jennifer Cuff, because without her and without her transfers to me, I wouldn't be standing, so thanks to Jennifer. I won't delay as much longer. It's been a long few days for everybody, but once again, thanks everybody for their effort and commitment. I look forward to taking my opportunity of serving the people of Wicklow, and I will work with anyone to get results for Wicklow. Thank you very much.
Pat Casey for Fianna Fáil elected to the Doyle. And the result from Wicklow East Carlow, Stephen Donnelly topping the poll. John Brady, Simon Harris, Andrew Doyle, Pat Casey. And that is General Election 2016 for the Wicklow constituency with East Carlow. This is Garden County Radio live from Shoreline Leisure in Greystones.